Hi, everybody at Jurong now. Heavy rain,
The bonds
as
have
usual.
warrants attached that will allow holders to buy a total of 387 million shares at $1.29 apiece. The issue is backed by investor Temasek Holdings, which has a 16% stake in Olam. Shares of Olam rose 2.5 cents to $1.60.
Shares of Sembcorp Marine tumbled 1.8% today, extending Monday's fall as market observers remained mixed on the impact of yesterday's incident. A part of an oil rig gave way at Sembcorp Marine's shipyard yesterday, injuring 89 workers. Speaking to Dow Jones Newswire, an analyst notes that the company has not come out with any statements on the financial impact or any insurance claims. He says the bigger hit is on reputation and how the incident will affect future orders for the world's second largest rig builder. But others, like Richard Bailey, an executive VP for technical advisor GL Noble Denton in Asia Pacific, told 938 Live, it's still early days to speculate.
I don't see why it would dent the image of the company, as long as they're very thorough and transparent about the investigation and they get to the root cause of the problem. That will allow, the industry will then be able to learn from that. An unfortunate situation, and I'm sure people will be working very hard and very quick to establish why something so unusual occurred.
The local stocks and shares ended nearly flat, trimming gains from previous sessions. Philip Securities said it starts a little more negative today versus Monday on technical reasons and based on the way the U.S. fiscal cliff negotiations are proceeding. The
This is
3 points.
Tuas area, which is more of an industrial area for manufacturing and commercial building.
Encouraging news about Greece's debt. Now let's take a look at how the Singapore dollar is faring against major currencies. The US dollar slipped 25 points to $1.
As you can see here, there's a lot of work on the road. This is mainly for preparation work for the new MRT line, which will be traveling across this area.
The dollar was 25 points higher at $1.04 cents, and the Malaysian ringgit eased 5 points to 40.05 cents. And that's the business news on 938 Live.
The Evening Express with Will Xavier and Janice Teal. 938 Live. 938 Live. Gets you talking.
And now, the LTA traffic news.
Sorry for the background noise. That will be my wiper.
We're not going to get enough.
I should have already changed it for some time.
Go on with the traffic report then.
I think most likely the rubber has already been wear out by the sun. So
Heavy traffic PIE towards Changi Airport. Not a problem anymore. That second vehicle
it's creating all this noise now.
PIE towards Changi Airport between Toh Guan Road exit and the BKE, and the PIE heading westwards Jurong between Thomson Road exit and the BKE. Also, roadworks have begun on Bradle Road. Why towards Tampines after Bradle UP? That is avoid left lane. Thank you. 6558400.
Here's a message from the LTA. Did you know that the Green Man Plus scheme allows the elderly and disabled more time for crossing at selected locations in Singapore? With the Green Man Plus, crossing will be much easier and safer. The LTA traffic news is supported by King Kong. Create a luxurious hotel feel with King Kong's hospitality collection, found in most international hotels globally, now available at all major stores. Singapore Airlines is selling what some analysts consider to be one of its least profitable investments, a 49% stake in Virgin Airlines. SIA says in talks with some parties about the sale of its stake in the British carrier, but it didn't name who the parties are. SIA said the discussions may or may not lead to a transaction. 938 Live's Karen James spoke with Ethan Francis, who's Asia editor at Aviation Week, to find out who the potential suitors are.
Virgin Atlantic, the key asset that it has is that London Heathrow Airport. London has 3 airports, Heathrow, Gatwick, Luton, and Heathrow is the best airport by far. That's its main asset, is the slots at Heathrow that Virgin Atlantic controls. So London is a fantastic sense because Delta would want to have those additional slots in at London Heathrow.
Now, how much do you think the Virgin stake is worth, and what kind of profit that we're likely to see if SIA were to sell it?
That's the big problem for SIA. People don't buy the Virgin Atlantic stake, but the problem is when Virgin sold the 49% stake to Singapore Airlines back in the year 2000, SQ paid basically too much for that stake. It paid a lot of money for that stake. So there is this sort of element where SQ will sell that stake, but they may not necessarily get the amount of money that they want for it. Virgin Atlantic is valuable because of the London slots, but I noticed I looked at their fleet. The Virgin Atlantic fleet comprises mostly of Airbus A340s, Boeing 747. These are very old aircraft. The aircraft that have 4 engines, they use a lot of fuel. So whoever buys the Virgin Atlantic business is going to have to do a complete renewal of that business because it cannot continue to operate with the A340 or the 747 with fuel prices at the high levels that they are right now. That business is not sustainable for the long term. So whoever buys Virgin Atlantic will realise that, so they'll lobby to try and get a cheap price on the business because I'll argue that Virgin Atlantic needs a lot of additional capital put into the business in order for it to reach its full potential.
But SIA will not sell the stake at a loss, would it?
Oh no, they won't sell at a loss because what SQ have done over the years is they've written down the value of that stake. So if you look at the SQ book, they no longer have it valued at the original price that they paid for it. It shouldn't have a negative impact on SQ's financial results. There won't be a write-down necessarily on the sale of the Virgin stake. They've already written it down over the years, realising that they'd overpaid for the airline in the first place.
SIA is looking to sell its Virgin Atlantic stake, but just like 2 months ago, it bought a 10% stake in Virgin Australia. Now, what kind of change in strategy do you see in Singapore Airlines?
Well, Virgin Australia makes sense because Australia is a very important market for Singapore Airlines. There's a lot of passenger feed that comes up from Australia through to Singapore and then out to other parts of the world. So Virgin Australia provides a lot of passenger feed to the SQ global network. The problem with Virgin Atlantic is that the tie-up is not so great. You know, Virgin Atlantic has some fantastic flight services into the United States, but SQ doesn't need Virgin Atlantic in order to reach the US market. SQ can fly non-stop from Singapore to Los Angeles, for example. It doesn't need to fly to London and then link up with Virgin Atlantic service from London to Los Angeles. So in that sense, the Virgin Atlantic based business makes less sense. I guess the only routes where the two networks link up quite nicely would be the New York service. SQ could fly to London and then connect their Virgin Atlantic flight to New York. But other than that, there's really not much synergy between the Virgin Atlantic network and the SQ network. But Virgin Australia is a different story altogether. There's tremendous synergy between the two networks.
That's Showbiz on 938 Live.
6 movies, 30 years, unfathomable brain damage, Rocky finds a home on Blu-ray. In 1976, America was introduced to one of the most iconic film figures of all time. A simple, amiable paisano from Philadelphia with a slow wit and a hard head. His name, Rocky Balboa, also known as the Italian Stallion, a man whose superhuman willpower is exceeded only by a shocking ability to absorb fist-propelled punishment. The original Rocky is still the best, genuine and moving, authentically inspiring, and one of the all-time great underdog movies. Rocky II, fresh off his mind-boggling go-the-distance engagement with Creed, Rocky has returned to toiling away in relative obscurity. That is until Creed, convinced he needs to get back in the ring for a rematch and indecisively alienate the Italian Stallion, challenges Balboa once again. Blah, blah, blah. He's back to montages, running laps, push-ups, etc. Rocky III, and that would be Hulk Hogan. Rocky, now wealthy and renowned champ, opens up the film with a charity bout against a dude named Thunder Lips. But things rapidly get out of control, turning into a free-for-all brawl. And unlike the first two films, the end fight is rather unfulfilling. Enter Rocky IV, Rocky versus the Evil Empire. He squares off against Ivan Drago, played by Dolph Lundgren, the Soviet Union's unstoppable boxing machine.
That's going to do it for today's Showbiz with Howie. Thanks very much, Howie. Symbols of health brought to you by Red Sun. Hi, I'm Daniel. As you get older, most people begin to notice a slowdown in their metabolism. It's all part of the aging process, which is now faster than new tissue production and growth speeds. That is when your functional organs will age. One of the most obvious organs to show this would be your skin. Think about when you begin to notice wrinkles and a loss of radiance. Placenta extract contains nutrients, growth factors, and bioactive cytokines. These have been shown to fight antioxidants, regulate your endocrine system, and improve blood circulation, all the while helping in the production of collagen. Japanese researchers found that daily intake of lamb placenta improved in some cases the signs of aging. Some evidence points to the rich nutrient source as helping to reduce dark spots and improve the skin's antioxidizing function. Reducing antioxidizing the skin would help to lock in skin moisture. Symbols of health brought to you by Red Sun Lamb Placenta, a product from Japan, keeping your skin vibrant and beautiful always. Red Sun, a symbol of health.
Did you know that waxing actually causes more damage to your car's paint finish? Yes, today's car paint only needs protection against natural pollutants like acid rain, bird droppings, and industrial fallout. Use Amazing Glaze to bring back lasting shine for your beloved car. Amazing Glaze is the certified aviation-grade paint protection technology used by major airlines since 1993. It's easy to maintain with just shampoo. Visit amazingglaze.com.sg or call 6247-9119 now.
Singapore, the hottest, sexiest concert of the year is on tonight. J-Lo's Dance Again World Tour at the Meadow Gardens by the Bay. Tonight, get loud, get on the dance floor, and dance again with the pop superstar. For one night only of J-Lo's greatest hits, stunning costumes, and all that booty shaking. Grab your tickets now from Sisting at $158. J-Lo Dance Again World Tour is promoted by AEG Live, supported by One Production, and brought to you by MediaCorp.
And now, the LTA traffic news.
Ahead on 6 o'clock news and 10 minutes away from Oppa Gangnam Style. The accident BKE towards Woodlands at Turf Club Avenue entrance. Don't you be dancing out there on the streets, right? You can be tapping out on the steering wheel, but that is it. AYE now towards Tuas between Buena Vista exit and Clementi Avenue 6. And look out for rain if it happens. Give us a call. 655-8400. News is now.
The LTA traffic news is supported by King Coil. Create a luxurious hotel feel with King Coil's hospitality collection, found in most international hotels globally. Now available at all major stores.
938 live.
Jurong Shipyard blames a mechanical error for yesterday's accident that injured 89 workers, and Deputy Prime Minister Tharman Shanmugaratnam and Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak laud the warm bilateral ties shared by both countries.
With Janice Cho, I'm Will Xavier. Thanks for joining us. A mechanical failure has led to one of the country's worst industrial accidents. Giving an update into the incident, Sembcorp Marine, the owner of Jurong Shipyard, said the braking system on one of the movable legs of the rigs had failed. This caused the platform to tilt to one side. Chief Executive of Sembcorp Marine, Wong Sun, said this is one of the early findings of investigations into yesterday's accident at the shipyard, which left 89 workers injured. He said that load tests had been carried out a day before the accident. Each of the three legs of the rig could bear a load of about 9,000 tons. Mr. Wong said the priority now is to stabilize the structure. Sembcorp Marine is working closely with the experts to get it back into an upright position.
On the sidelines of the 8th World Islamic Economic Forum, Malaysia's Prime Minister Najib Razak and Singapore's Deputy Prime Minister Tharman Shanmugaratnam met this afternoon. Both leaders reaffirmed the warm bilateral ties. Our reporter Shima Roy with this report.
After their bilateral meeting this afternoon, Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister Tharman Shanmugaratnam described the relationship between the two sides as one that is at many different levels working out very well. When asked about Singapore's further involvement in the Iskandar project in Johor, Mr. Tharman said Singapore has already a significant involvement and that it is up to the private sector to get more involved. He said that Malaysia, on its own accord, is looking into security and taking it seriously. He added that Malaysian authorities are raising security a whole notch higher, and he appreciated this move made by the Malaysian authorities. With regards to the high-speed rail, Mr. Chairman reiterated that the project has an exciting vision and that the two sides are working out details. In the state of Johor, I'm Seema Roy reporting for 938 Live.
Most Singaporeans feel that the SMRT bus drivers from China should be punished fully under the law if they've breached Singapore's laws. This is based on a snap poll via the government's feedback channel Reach to find out how Singaporeans feel about last week's illegal strike. Close to 8 in 10 or 78% feel this way on the premise that Singapore has zero tolerance for illegal strikes. Another key finding is that 56% agree with the government in taking the time to ascertain the facts before labeling the action as an illegal strike. 76% feel that the government acted swiftly in bringing the situation under control. Reach, which shared its findings, polled 313 Singaporeans who are 15 years old or older over the weekend.
You're listening to the news on 938 Live. Coming up next in home news, the Social Development Network has launched a dating cash voucher to encourage family and friends to play Cupid to their single loved ones. And in world news, a powerful typhoon pounding the southern Philippines, cutting power, suspending travel and flooding areas already vulnerable to landslides. More details coming up.
938 Live. 938 Live gets you talking with Talkback.
Oppan Gangnam Style.
Talkback goes Gangnam Style. What will it take for Singapore to produce a creative talent to rival a worldwide phenomenon like Psy?
Very easy, silly horse dance step combined together that allows everyone from little to producer with big to do happiness. Machinery of the Korean government and industry together know how to package them and sell them, but behind them stands the likely LG Samsung, which ride on popularity of